So this is my Monday best. It's first day back to work today after a long weekend. So it's just, hard being motivated to be there. But I wanted to give a little more history about my dental history actually versus just my education history. So when I was a kid, the first time I went to the dentist, I have no idea how old I was. I just remember my parents taking us, and I remember crying my eyes out the whole time, not letting them do anything. And my brother and my sister were fine. So fast forward to whoever we went to, my parents took us to a children and teen dentist. So we went to a pediatric dentist. Um, None of us really loved the hygienists because they weren't all super friendly. And the hard part for me was no one ever talked to me about my teeth. So, which I'll get into that in a second. But the first dentist I had there was probably 6'2", dark hair, tall man, super intimidating, like intimidated the living crap out of me. So I was always nervous. I was always anxious. I was always the kid that laid in the chair and looked up and just thought, none of those instruments can fit in my mouth. You're choking me, you're gagging me, I'm a mess. So of course I would gag. I had a hard time taking x-rays because I would gag on the film. And it just was not a fun experience. I went because my parents made us go, but I never enjoyed it. And my brother and my sister, we would all complain. We didn't like the toothpaste. We didn't like the fluoride. But they would make fun of me because I would cry when I had to get x-rays. And they never had cavities, and I did. I got them. I don't even know how old I was when I got my first one. So I was not the best brusher. I'd never flossed my teeth up until I went to hygiene school. So I was 19 years old when I started flossing my teeth. So and I loved sugar as a kid. I loved candy. So I ate sugar. I didn't brush my teeth, so I paid for it. I got cavities. I had braces. When I got my braces when I was 16, that's when I really started taking care of my teeth. I brushed every day, twice a day. I got in the 5-minute brushing habit. I would brush forever because I did not want any white spots on my teeth. I couldn't wait to have straight teeth because I had a space in my front teeth. I had to wear a palate expander because I had a crossbite on one side, which means that my top teeth sat on the inside of my bottom teeth, where naturally your top teeth sit over your bottom teeth. So I had to wear an expander to open that up, which I already had a space in my front teeth and it just made it go wider. This tooth here, right here, never came in on its own. So my orthodontist made a big space. I had to go have surgery where they flapped the gum up really high up here. They attached a bracket. I wore a rubber band to pull that in. So that was, and it wasn't like traumatic for me because I was so excited to get braces and have straight teeth. I wanted straight teeth so bad. And I was in high school and I took care of my teeth. And that's when I learned. Again, I didn't floss, but I still brushed. I finally got in a good brushing habit. But then when I got my braces off, I had a hole in my tooth. So the one bracket that came off, there was a hole. And my dentist, God love him, he was super sweet man. Because my parents then, we were out of the pediatric office because we were all adults. We weren't going back there. So I went to my parents' dentist, who I felt was in his 80s when I saw him. Sweet man, hunchback, but was done doing dental work. I mean, he was done. And I remember saying, what is with this hole? And he said, Rita, I don't want to deal with it. And I was in hygiene school. He goes, have someone at that school look at it. Let them deal with it. I don't want to get involved. Well, the night before I got it looked at, I had a piece of tooth break off. So I ended up getting a huge silver filling on that tooth. A year later, I needed a root canal because the decay was so deep in that tooth. The filling was so deep, it went down into the nerve. A year later, I got a root canal and a crown put on that tooth. The same thing happened on the tooth on the opposite side of my mouth. So this was my bottom right that time, the bottom left, same thing. Hole started, tooth broke off, big old filling, decay. I probably had 8 fillings done while I was in hygiene school. I had a dental student work on me. So, they placed all the silver fillings, which is what they do in school. That's what they learn with. And when I got out of hygiene school, I don't think I had any work done for a minute. And then when I moved to Vegas, when I was 25, that's when it not started, but I had worked for a really good dentist. We took all my silver fillings out, put all white ones in. So you don't know what I have where. And then I needed a few more root canals after that. So I had one tooth that, again, just deep decay, tooth died, needed a root canal, had to put a crown on it because it's a back tooth, I have to chew with it. I got hit in the face with the softball, had to get a root canal there. This tooth, they call it forced eruption, that I had to wear the rubber band. That needed a root canal because the nerve of that died. I had 6 root canals total. So another one was really deep decay. I mean, they were just all problems from, late teenage years to early 20s that just kind of domino affected. So then, in hygiene school, I got over my fear. Let me back up. So my pediatric dentist, the tall guy, hated him. I had to get sealants put on. That was my first experience of being in the dental chair with a dentist, not just the hygienist. I couldn't stop gagging because they were putting the stuff in my mouth, and me, being a kid, putting all this stuff in, panicking, none of it fits, I can't breathe, the whole shebang. They put me on nitrous oxide. I remember my mom coming in the room laughing, telling me I looked like an elephant. I remember sitting there thinking I was floating. I felt like my arms, my hands were crossed up underneath my back. Like, it was a gnarly experience. And then when they took me off the gas, I went to get out of the chair. I just wanted to beeline out of the office because I was a shy kid. I was a super sensitive kid. I'm still sensitive, but the dentist was like, no, sit down. And I just started bawling, and I could not stop crying because I just was so scared and all the anxiety, and it was over with, and I was just relieved. So the tears just wailed down. So then when I needed my first cavity, they had a different dentist. He was amazing. He gave me my first injection. I never even knew that I had an injection, never felt it. He shook my cheek. It was amazing. He gave me a mirror. That was the best thing that guy ever did. He said, would you like to watch what I'm doing? And I looked at him and I said, yes, I would. His name was Dr. Davis. He was amazing. And I watched that entire procedure, and I remember gagging one time, and I thought, it dawned on me. And I was too young to understand. I'm a visual person. I'm a visual learner. When I got to see everything he was doing, all of my fear and all of my anxiety went out the window. And I went, oh my God, all this stuff fits in my mouth. They're not big tools. And he kind of talked to me through it, like, you okay? You doing all right? But him letting me see what was going on and allow me to know, that was the best thing he could have did for me as a kid. So every filling I had to have after that, we booked with him, even if we had to wait a month or two. And I remember I got to the point I didn't need the mirror anymore. I was not scared. So I still kind of had a gag reflex. I went into hygiene school, still had it, but I lost all of that in hygiene school and got completely over the fear because the dental student that worked on me, our appointments were 3 hours and their appointments were 3 hours. I'd have to sit in that chair for 3 hours because they had to numb you and then get checked, and then they prep your tooth, and then the dentist had to come check, make sure the prep was right. Every stage in a dental school or hygiene school, every stage you do has to get checked by the instructors. You can't progress without getting checked and getting the pass. Go ahead and fill this tooth, or go ahead and scale their tooth, go ahead and polish, go ahead and floss. Yes, their medical history is cleared. It's very detailed. They're literally checking every step, which is why you're learning and why you're there. So they don't just let you willy-nilly stuff. So I had really good dental work done there, which I'm grateful for. And some of it's still holding up today. So yeah, that's kind of like my experience. So now, like, fast forward again to, I worked for a dentist probably 4 years ago now. He's since passed away, which is super sad, but he was an older gentleman and he was very particular, and I respected him for it. And like, we would kind of bicker, but I adored him at the same time. So I had 2 crowns that he wanted to redo. They were both on my right side by side teeth. So I was super nervous about the one that had the root canal and the crown. That was my first root canal and crown I had, and I was 20 or 21. So at this point, I don't know, I'm in my 30s, mid 30s, maybe late 30s. I don't even remember. So I'm paranoid, and I told him, I'm like, if you open that tooth and cut that crown off, I swear there's going to be like dust flying out of that tooth. I was so scared. So he's, assured me everything's fine. I said, okay, fine. So we do the crown. Well, the first one comes back, we cement it, we take an x-ray. It doesn't fit. And this is a brand new crown, and it's a material called zirconia, which is super hard. There's no metal in it. And these have caught on nowadays in the last 3 years. The zirconia crowns have kind of taken off. They don't always put metal on the crowns anymore. So we had to cut the crown off, this brand new crown. So he waited a few days. We cut it off, retook the impression, sent it to the lab. They sent it back. We put it on, take the x-ray. Same problem with the tooth. There was just an open space. Sent it back the third time. It comes back. It fits. We cement it. Everything's great. Within a week, I have a toothache. This is literally the worst toothache I've had in my life. Like my other root canals that I had pain. It was as though if I drank something cold, I describe it as like a light switch goes on. You don't feel your teeth, but you just feel it. It's just there. And that feeling would linger for minutes, if not a half hour after I'd have something cold or touch it or bite on it. This, I woke up on a Sunday and I'm like, man, my tooth hurts. I went to work Monday. I'm like, we need to adjust my bite. My tooth's killing me. I thought my bite was high and I was banging on the tooth. Pain didn't stop all day. It got worse. I could barely work. It was just like a fire siren in my head. I went to work Tuesday and he goes, how's your tooth? And I said, it's not good. I go, it still hurts. He goes, you need to see a specialist. I said, I already made an appointment. So I went to the specialist, which is ironically the people I work for now. I went to the periodontist, had them evaluate it. Yeah, your tooth's probably cracked or something. It's got to come out. So I had already cried about it because I was just paranoid about losing a tooth, paranoid about getting an implant. At this point, I didn't care. I wanted the tooth out. I had such a toothache. I didn't care what you had to do. I understand now when people come in and say, just get it out. Just take it out of my head. You need the pain to stop. It is so painful. It's unreal. So they put me on antibiotics. So Sunday was the toothache. Tuesday I had the appointment. We can't pull the tooth and do your bone graft until the following Wednesday. Start the antibiotics Tuesday. By Friday, I was working part-time for an office on Fridays. I called off because I couldn't sleep. I had such a toothache and I had taken anesthetic, meaning the numbing stuff, the generic term of Novocaine, and needles and stuff home to numb myself, which is not good. I don't recommend it. Don't do that. But I thought if just in case this thing flares up, I have to do something. So I had other hygienists that were friends. You know, if you need numbed, just call me. I could have went to a few offices and had them just give me a shot so that I would be numb and just kind of chill out. So I called about 6 offices that Friday morning, couldn't get into any, called the periodontist that I was going to see. They took me on an emergency visit, thank the Lord. And they took my tooth out, did my bone graft. And I was so relieved when I came home to no pain. So that was that. And then I had, I probably didn't have a tooth down there for either 6 to 8 months. So the bone graft healed. They put the implant in, which was a piece of cake. And now I have an implant down there and nobody knows because I've got a crown on top of it. And you don't know what's what. So it's just, I got a titanium implant in my jaw. But it functions as a natural tooth, and that's one tooth that I do everybody major chewing with. So now I am able to share with my patients, like the guys that I work for now, the doctors I work for now are amazing. They're the best, and that's why I went there. And I paid for my implant. I didn't care how much it cost me. I wanted the best. I wanted it done right. And even my doctor could have done it for me for nothing because I worked for him. But I told him, if something goes wrong, I don't want a reason to not like you. I love you and I don't want any issues. And he was totally fine with it. So I had these guys do it and now I work for them, which is amazing because I get to share again in the experience that I had with them, which was amazing. They did amazing work. I had no problems, no aftermath, just normal post-op things, a little soreness, a little swelling, but my whole procedure went smooth as silk. It was awesome. So that's kind of my story, my dental history. So I've been able to experience lots of things. I still wear a retainer. I wear a night guard. I do whiten my teeth, which I need to do now. But, you know, I do it all. But I brush twice a day. I go through 2 cycles on my Sonicare. I'm a psychopath. So I do 4 minutes of brushing. I water pick. Usually 5 days out of the week. I floss others. I always have floss picks with me. And I'm a fanatic about my teeth, but I've been through a lot. because I don't want any more problems. So I really take care of what I do. Plus, I see all the things that can happen, and I've experienced so much that I'm not a robot on the other side of the chair. I'm a human being, and I get it. I get people's fear, I get their anxiety, I get what they go through. But I also understand that I'm a control freak. And as a kid, I didn't know that, and I wanted to be in control. But that's what, when I realized that, I recognize that in other people, because they can't see what's going on, they panic. And that's, I mean, this is no offense, but it's people that hold the suction. They like to be in control of something. They like to feel that they're doing something because you can't see what we're doing. So ask for a mirror. If you're one of those people that needs to know, ask questions. And when people come in and ask me questions, I have no problem with it. I am ecstatic. I love it because I want them to be a little bit calmer in my chair. I don't want them freaking out. I've been there. I've freaked out. I've panicked. I've done it all. So I like to know that you want to know what's going on, and I'm not ashamed or upset if you ask me questions. Some people do, some people don't. Some people don't want to know. That's fine. It's everybody's own personal thing. So that might help you when you go to the dentist, even if your kid's freaking out. Maybe see if they want to hold a mirror and watch what's going on, because you never know that could calm them down, even with x-rays, because I've done that with kids with x-rays. I've let them hold the mirror, and I've showed them, I'll put my finger in their mouth and all that stuff to show them what's going on, so they understand and they can see it and know, okay, this fits in my mouth. Ooh, let me watch this. But other kids can do that, or people, adults, and they immediately their tongue just pushes everything out because it's like, no, I don't want that in there. Right, but you have a lot of space, things fit. So I'm going to cut that short there. So that's my history. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk soon.